Hi friends, and welcome to another Chanel Makeup Masterclass. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how to create the modern Les Beiges makeup look. For more than 10 years, I've tried everything from Chanel beauty, fragrances, skincare and makeup, and in this series, I like to share with you my tips and tricks about the best Chanel makeup products and how to use them. So if that sounds interesting, please make sure to subscribe, turn the notification bell on. I would love to welcome you here. And if you're returning, welcome back, beautiful friends. I am going to link in the description my other masterclass tutorials of Chanel and also my French makeup masterclass tutorials. Today, we're aiming to create the modern Les Beiges makeup look, which means that we're going to have a little bit more color than usual, but it's still going to be this beautiful summer makeup look that is going to be long lasting. We are going to start with skincare. Now for skincare, if you do not own Chanel skincare, just go ahead and use whatever you like. I'm going to prep my skin by using my favorite serum from Chanel. I have been using this one for so many years, and this is the Hydra Beauty Micro Serum. Currently, they reformulated it and I really like it. It is hydrating, and the Hydra Beauty Micro Serum can be used for all ages because it just adds hydration. Currently, it's only available in a 30 ml bottle, but Chanel promised that they're going to release also a 50 ml. It plumps up the skin beautifully and preps the skin for makeup. However, you have to keep in mind that this product has fragrance, so it's not going to be suitable for everyone. If you're sensitive to fragrances and to fragranced skincare, just keep that in mind. Other than that, I think that it's a product that is lovely and it's suitable for a lot of people, especially before makeup application. For lips, I'm going to be using the Hydra Beauty Lip Balm, which is quite moisturizing. It's not too oily. It's one of my favorite products, and I like to use it for my lips as well as for cuticles, or it's quite convenient to have it in your handbag sometimes if you have some dry patches of skin. I find that this is a multi-purpose product. For my under eye area, I used a little bit of the Hydra Beauty Micro Serum. It works well under my eyes, but I'm also going to need some additional help, and that's why I'm using a little bit of La Roche-Posay. This is Cicaplast Gel B5, because I find that when my under eye area is quite well moisturized, plus my skin, my eyes have been dry lately, and that's why I need just some additional help. And this almost works like an eye mask for me. So I'm usually going to apply a little bit and wait for it to soak in, and I'm also going to apply this Cicaplast gel. This one is just quite gentle. It doesn't have any fragrance. I also like to apply it on my eyelids, and I find that it helps tremendously with my dry eyes. For some reason, I know that it's skincare, and it doesn't make sense to help my dry eyes, but somehow it does help my dry eyes. So do whatever you normally do to prep your skin for makeup. You don't need to use the same products that I'm using. While I'm waiting for my skincare to soak into my skin, I prefer to give it a minute or two before starting to do my makeup, because I always find that makeup works more beautifully if I wait for my skincare to soak into my skin. I am going to share with you a trick that I like to use. I like this body cream from La Roche-Posay. This one is for sensitive skin. It's Lipicar Balm. I'm going to make sure to write it in the description box. And this is Triple Action Balm, Anti-Scratching, Anti-Dry Flare-Ups, Immediate Soothing. This one is suitable for children as well. It's for all over the body. It's a rich, non-fragranced balm cream for sensitive skin. It has a very rich texture, and I like to spray a couple of times. My favorite fragrance, Coco Mademoiselle. I'm going to be using the intense version. I have all versions of Coco Mademoiselle, but I'm going to be using the intense version, and I think that for today's look, it's going to pair beautifully. But this tip, you can use it for any perfumes that you have, any fragrances. Just take a very gentle body lotion, something that is suitable for sensitive skin, preferably with a rich texture. And I'm going to spray a couple of times here in the palm of my hand. I'm going to spray just a couple of times. Then rub it in. And I'm going to apply this on my legs, on my arms, on my body. And the fragrance is going to stay with me the whole day. I'm starting with my legs, of course. Then I'm going to move on to my arms. And then this very nice, sweet citrus ambery scent is going to follow me the whole day. And it's light, everyone can feel it, but it's not offensive at the same time. And I never overspray like that, actually. I really enjoy this way of applying perfume. It's my personal ritual. And I created it actually because of the sensitivity of my skin, and because this one is really suitable for eczema-prone skin. And for very sensitive skin. And since it is a very rich cream, it also helps the fragrance to stay. And it stays with me for many hours. It's the late afternoon, so I'm not going to be applying SPF, but if you're creating this look in the morning, make sure to use your SPF. If you want to see my makeup routine with SPF, I'm going to make sure to link it here in my French makeup masterclass. And I'm going to wash my hands before I touch my face. That's mandatory because my hands are quite fragranced at the moment. In my previous Chanel Masterclass makeup tutorial, I used my favorite Water Fresh tint from Chanel. This is a water-based product, and it's a little bit tricky if you were to use SPF on top of this one, because not all SPFs work well with the Water Fresh tint. Other than that, it's my favorite product, but usually you have to adjust the SPF that you're wearing with this one. It usually works best with chemical sunscreens. Today I'm going to be using a different one. I'm going to be using today the Ultra Le Teint Velvet, which is suitable for people who have oily skin. It's also beautiful for the summer months because it's a natural finish foundation. It's a natural matte finish foundation, and this one applies beautifully on top of SPF. And since we are in the summer now, I just want to show you something that works quite well on top of sunscreens. This is what it looks like, and I'm wearing the shade B10 in Chanel's foundations. This one was recently, in the beginning of this year, I believe it was reformulated. I have a full review of the new one, this one. I'm going to make sure to leave a link in the description in case you want to see my full review. I really like it, and it's especially suitable for the summer months. You can apply this foundation with sponges, fingers, or brushes. But if you're wearing SPF, just make sure that you're not dragging it. I would recommend using a sponge and gently pressing the foundation into the skin if you're using sunscreen, because otherwise if you're using a brush you might drag the sunscreen, and this is going to compromise the protection of your skin. So I would always recommend applying foundations very carefully and pressing it into the skin with a sponge if you're using sunscreen. And this one feels very lightweight, and I think it's quite suitable for the summer months. For my under eye area, I'm going to be using a little bit of the Sublimage concealer. I'm wearing the shade B10 again. The Sublimage concealer comes with its own brush, which I lost. I think it's somewhere, but it's a little bit more big and fluffy. That's why I'm using a smaller brush. This one is from a Sisley concealer, which I love because it allows me to apply the concealer precisely exactly where I need it. And I'm going to be using the concealer only in the inner corners of my eyes. Just like so. And then I like to melt it lightly with my fingers. And then I'm using the same sponge that I used for the foundation, and I'm taking the concealer also lightly from what's left onto my eyelids, because it's going to serve as a base for my eyeshadows. Next, I'm going to fill in my brows, and I'm going to use a little bit of setting gel for my brows. I'm always using a Floris's brow pencil. This one is my favorite. Chanel also have a little set with brow products. It has powder and a wax, which I love, but currently we don't have it here. I'm going to make sure to write it in the description. I believe that it's currently available in the US. For some reason, currently we don't have it in stock in Europe, but it's a product that I really love from Chanel for brows. Meanwhile, I'm always going to get some foundation or concealer in my hair when I film. So apologies for that. I'm going to be setting my face with Chanel loose powder. I'm almost finishing this one, but I saw that they just released in Asia, they just released some new loose powders, and I'm quite excited to try those. Make sure to turn the notification bell on. For sure, I'm going to review the new loose powders from Chanel. I'm very excited for this launch. This step is going to be optional if you have dry skin and if you feel like it's enough. This foundation has a soft focus effect. It has a very soft finish. So for some people it is going to be enough, but as you can see, my skin is combination. It's quite hot and humid at the moment, and still I get this glow. Even though it's a natural matte looking foundation, I still have quite a lot of glow. So I prefer to perfect everything with powder. If you're using concealer, a very important step is going to be how you're going to set the face, how you're going to set the under eye area. So take a small brush with a little bit of loose powder. That's probably the best option. And make sure to take the excess by tapping it just like so that you don't have a lot of powder and a lot of product. And you can just go ahead and lightly dust the powder onto the eyelids, because this is going to create a more smooth base for the eyeshadows and also under the eyes. And then if you need, you can go on top with your beauty sponge to seal everything. And that's how the concealer is not going to move and it's going to stay in place the whole day. Also, another tip that I have already shared with you, but in case you're new to my channel, get a Q-tip and always make sure to look up. And here, a lot of people, especially those who are 30 plus years old, are going to have some creases. So make sure to clean the excess product here that has gathered into the creases. You can do that if you want at the end of your makeup, but there is always going to be a little bit of product that is going to gather into the creases. I also like to remove the product also from the crease on my eyelids. Now we're moving on to eyes. I want to show you a few tips on how to make your eyelids to look more youthful and to make the eyeshadows more long-lasting for the summer months, especially. And also, I want to show you two different color combinations to create the Modern Les Beiges makeup look this summer. I'm going to be using two of my favorite products from this year's Les Beiges makeup collection. Now the first one is going to be the star of this year's makeup collection. I believe that this one is already sold out in most countries. This is the Les Beiges Eclat du Soir Healthy Golden Glow Powder. You can use this one on the face, but you can also use it on the eyes and it looks beautiful. So we're going to create on this eye, I'm going to show you the sunrise Les Beiges makeup look, and on this eye we're going to create the sunset. So I'm going to take my finger directly and swirl it between the two colors, and the color that we get is absolutely stunning, and this is what I like to call it, the sunrise color. So I'm going to apply this color all over my eyelid and up to the crease. The texture is beautiful. The glitters are so nice. It's not too glittery. This is going to work for all ages. Just wait for a little while and I'm going to show you the trick that is going to make all the difference. Then I'm taking a brush to make it a little bit more precise and to be able to get more precisely into the inner corner of my eye. And again, up to the crease. And I'm going to show you the second color combination, which I like to call the sunset. So I'm going to take this orangey color here and the top shade. So I'm going to apply first this one all over my eyelid. This color is actually very smooth. I'm going to use a brush actually. So taking the color and applying this all over the eyelid. Now it's very important to have a little bit of concealer or eyeshadow primer and then a little bit of powder on top of your eyelids. Otherwise, the colors may become a little bit more patchy because the eyelid can be wet, and this is never going to be a good look. So I'm going to apply this color. We're only going to use this one color combination on each eye. And then I'm taking the top shade. This one has beautiful shimmers. And if you want to see more close-ups of these two products, I have a review of this collection, so you can go ahead, and I'm going to link to my video. So this side is going to be more like a sunset. It's going to be more sparkly because of this shade here. Then taking my eyeshadow brush, I'm just going to make sure to soften the edges, any kind of edges we don't want to have them. And I'm going to get close to you now so that you can see the difference. I like to call this one the sunset and then the sunrise. That's how we're going to call it. Next, I'm taking my favorite Stylo Ombre et Contour in Electric Brown, and I'm going to use this one as a smudged eyeliner. I'm going to apply this one starting from the middle of my eyelid and dragging it outwards. I want to keep this as close as possible to the lash line. Not really using it as an eyeliner, but more to sculpt my eye. I'm going to do that on both sides. You don't have to be precise here because you can always go ahead and smudge the line. We are not aiming for a sharp eyeliner, but it's more about sculpting the eye. So you can always take a small brush and smudge the edges lightly. I want to share with you a tip that I promised in the beginning, how to make your eyelids look more youthful and also how to make the eyeshadows last longer. I'm going to take one of Chanel's Baume Essentiels. These are multi-purpose products that they can be used on the lips and also on the face as a highlighter or as a blush, depending on the color that you have. Currently, I have Dragé that I'm going to use. It's a slightly pinkish color, and I'm going to take a little bit of this one. What we're going to do here, I'm going to take a little bit of the Baume Essentiel. Any Baume Essentiel that you have is going to work. So I'm going to take a little bit, rub it in between my fingers, just the smallest amount, and I'm going to apply this one onto my eyelid very lightly. The key here is going to be to apply a very small amount because right now we have a powdery look on the eyelids, which it depends very much. If you're in your 20s, your eyelids are going to look very tight and very youthful. But if you're older than 20, like if you're 30 plus, 40 plus years old, you might notice that when you're using powder eyeshadows, they always tend to slightly emphasize the age on the eyelids and to slightly emphasize this not as tight skin on the eyelids. Let's face it, we are losing collagen, we are losing the elasticity in the skin, and this trick is going to help to bring back the elasticity while at the same time making the eyeshadows a lot more long lasting. So I'm going to take a little bit of the Baume Essentiel. You have to use a small amount, otherwise you are going to remove the eyeshadow. And I am just going to touch my eyelid like so. Now make sure that you're watching on HD. If you get closer, if you look closer at the moment, you're going to see that on this eyelid is going to look a lot more youthful, and the skin on this eyelid is going to look a lot more tight and young compared to this eye where I only have the powder and I don't have the Baume Essentiel. Now make sure that you're watching me in HD because you are certainly going to notice that on this eye, the skin on my eyelid is going to look a lot more young and much tighter compared to this eye where I only have applied the powder eyeshadows. This is because as we age, the skin is going to become more loose. We are going to lose this collagen elasticity on the skin, and the skin, when you use only powder, it is going to look slightly older compared to when you use this trick. It always somehow takes years off the eyelids. However, if you leave it just like that, it is going to be sticky, which is going to be unpleasant, and when you go out in the heat, it's not going to be pleasant. So have a look at closely. As I close my eyes now, there might be a little bit of dragging here. This is a balm essentially, and you don't want to have it on your eyelid because it might tend to stick a little bit when you start closing and opening your eye. I don't feel it, but if you look closely, you may be able to see it. So we're going to correct that right now. So I'm going to make sure that my fingers are clean. I'm going to get this, again, the same two colors, a small amount. This time, make sure that you're using a small amount. I'm even rubbing, slightly pressing my fingers together. And I'm going to bring back a little bit of that powder, just to remove the stickiness from the eyelid. So what I want to achieve here is to keep this very tight look on the eyelid, but I want to remove the stickiness that might have appeared because of the balm. So I'm very, very gently dabbing on the eyeshadow. And right now you can see that my eyelid still looks incredibly youthful, but at the same time I don't have the stickiness, and the eyeshadows are going to be so long lasting because we're making like a sandwich. So we are applying the eyeshadow, the powder eyeshadow first, then the Baume Essentiel, a small amount, and then we are applying the same eyeshadow on top of the Baume Essentiel to remove the stickiness, but to keep this lifted and very tight skin effect. And this looks beautiful and it lasts all day. I dare you to try it and let me know how it works in the comments below. Now I'm going to show you that this same effect is going to work on this eye as well. So I'm taking a small amount, applying this all over the eyelid, and it's immediately going to remove. The key here is to apply a small amount. If you apply too much, you're going to just remove your eyeshadow and you're going to lose the effect that we are looking for. So this time for the second eye, I'm only going to go into the top shade. It's all up to you. You can go into both colors if you want to, but I only want to emphasize the top shade. Maybe just a little bit here. It's all about playing with the colors, so it's all going to be up to you here. Just make sure to not overdo it. Okay, and there we have it. And I still think that I'm going to stay with the sunrise look. I'm going to clean this one and create a sunrise so that I'm not going out with two different eyes. Okay, friends, now that I have the sunrise in both of my eyes, I am going to apply mascara. I just curled my lashes as well off camera. And for mascara, I'm going to be using the new Gucci mascara. This is the Le Magnétisme mascara, just because I dislike the latest reformulation of the Le Volume de Chanel mascara, and I currently don't have the Inimitable mascara, which I love from Chanel. I have to repurchase it because mine, I have one, but it's quite old, not to be used on the eyes. So I'm going to be using this mascara. I just want to have long defined and thick lashes. This mascara actually has a little bit of a learning curve, but other than that it's quite nice. And you can use whichever mascara you like. What I love here is that with just a few strokes the effect is actually, and the difference is quite impressive. Next, I'm coming back to my face makeup, and I'm going to be using the same Healthy Glow powders as a blush and a highlighter. I'm going to be using them as 2-in-1. I like to mix the two colors together, and I like to take the excess on the back of my hand, and then I'm going to go ahead and apply this one. And this brings so much light to the complexion in this instant sun-kissed look. I'm going to apply it only on this side so that you can see a difference. And here, depending on your skin tone, you can go ahead and mix between the two colors, or you can use this one as a blush topper if you're blessed with rich skin tone. This may be only a highlighter for you. For me, it is a blush, a beautiful illuminating blush. Here you can customize the colors as you like. You can apply a little bit more of the gold or a little bit more of the pink, or only the pink and the gold separately. It's all up to you. I personally prefer to use them both. And I like to apply this one also onto my nose because it gives me the most beautiful ethereal sun-kissed look. I did emphasize it a little bit more. You can tone it down if you want to. And this, what I love about this product is that skin peeks through and it's transparent and it's so beautiful. When you tilt your head, it's like you have the summer in your skin. So I'm always going to apply also a little bit onto my nose to get this slightly sunburned look. And from this product, I also like to use a little bit on my forehead as well, because it's summer. Why not? I want to take full advantage of this healthy look. Maybe a little bit here on my shoulders as well. Why not? Okay. I want to let my hair down, and we're moving on to lips. For lips, I have two different options. You are going to let me know which one is your favorite. One is going to be one of my all-time favorite products from Chanel, and this is the one that I keep repurchasing. This is the Rouge Coco Flash in 118 Freeze. And it's a beautiful pink shade. This has the texture of a balm, so it almost feels like a lip balm. It performs like a lip balm, but it also has enough color. So I'm going to just apply this generously. I adore the Rouge Coco Flash, especially for the summer months, because they perform and they feel like a lip balm, but at the same time they have some color. It's very easy to apply, to reapply. You don't even need a mirror. It's just very easy to use product. And I believe that right now Chanel have a campaign about their Rouge Coco Flash lipsticks. And I agree, they are very suitable for the summer months. You can change the colors as much as you like, and also they keep the lips hydrated and plump at the same time. They are very kind to people like me who have quite thin lips and refuse to have a lip filler. So another option is going to be, if you need your lipstick to be a little bit more long lasting, I'm going to show you my favorite lip liner from Chanel, and this one is 164. And it's a beautiful, this one has one brush on one side and then the lip liner on the other side. It's a beautiful, it's a muted pink color, almost like a rosewood color, dusty pink. It's lovely. And these are very soft, quite long lasting, gentle to sensitive lips. I'm going to go ahead and remove this and use it. And I usually like to use this lip liner all over my lips as well, just to fill in my lips. That's how the color becomes more long lasting. Going to go ahead and reapply the same color, Freeze, and you let me know which one you prefer. I think that I prefer it without the lip liner because I'm always a bit of a minimalist, but this one is better if you need a little bit more long-lasting color. Then this combination with the lip liner is going to be better. So I'm taking my hair back so that you can see a little bit better my skin and you can focus on my face, not on my big hair at the moment. I think that the main advantage of this look and the main idea of the Modern Les Beiges makeup look is going to be to have a little bit of color and to create this youthful appearance. What we all want to look a little bit younger. And I think that by using these techniques, you can take years off your face, and it's very fresh. It's quite natural, but at the same time with a hint of color, which makes it a Modern Les Beiges makeup look. To finish off the look, I'm going to apply a little bit more fragrance. This time I'm going to be using Coco Mademoiselle L'Eau Privée. I love this fragrance because it's much softer than the Coco Mademoiselle Eau de Parfum. And let me give you a quick guide on the Coco Mademoiselle fragrances. So the Coco Mademoiselle Eau de Parfum has patchouli. It has this soft and fresh citrus opening. Then it has flowers, it has jasmine, it has rose, and it has patchouli in the base. whereas the Le Privé is the softest version of Coco Mademoiselle, and this one has musk instead of patchouli. So it's very suitable for the summer months, I would say, and it lasts quite well because in the beginning of the video I showed you my little secret to make my Coco Mademoiselle fragrances, and any fragrance actually, a lot more long lasting, and so that it can stay with me the whole day. So I'm going to use this one in the summer months. I also love the hair perfume of Coco Mademoiselle. And then the main difference between the Eau de Parfum and the Eau de Parfum Intense that I used in the beginning of the video is that the Intense version has tonka and vanilla along with the patchouli and the citrus opening. So this one is a little bit more intense. I would say that it's slightly more round, whereas the Eau de Parfum, the classic Eau de Parfum, is more fresh. So it's all up to you. I would say that these fragrances, the Coco Mademoiselle, the whole line, pairs beautifully together and layers beautifully. I like to mix and match my Coco Mademoiselle fragrances, and I think that they are seasonless and they can be used also in the summer months because they are quite fresh, and because of the citrus, the flowers, they are suitable for all seasons. And this is going to be the finished look, a modern take on the classic Chanel Les Beiges makeup look. Quite fresh, easy to create, and very youthful. I hope that you enjoyed spending time with me. I truly had so much fun filming this video and sharing these tips with you. I hope to see you next time. A bientôt!